distinguished guests. On behalf of the Mostrim Players, we would like to extend to you a very welcome Céad Míle Fáilte to you all. We, the Mostrim Players, in conjunction with some members of our youth group, are putting on a pageant entitled The Life and Times of Maria Edgeworth. Of course, it would take hours and hours if we were to cover her entire life, so we have selected some scenes of interest and importance in Maria's life to give you an insight into parts of her life and that of her counterparts. Today we are going to showcase 5 scenes where we portray Maria's daily comings and goings with her father, her extended family, acquaintances and friends. Maria will be performed by 5 different actors to denote the time differences. To set the scene, we have young Maria's return to the estate, only to be met by family and friends and indeed problems. But in her usual way, Maria will have her own ideas on how to solve these problems. Maria was a great admirer of Sir Thomas More, so in a moment the Ross sisters will sing their version of Believe Me If All These Endearing Young Charms, one of his most famous songs. But before they do, I'd just like to make a little announcement. It's quite windy out here today, so if there is interference with the microphones, you are going to have to give us a little bit of leeway. Also, we do claim some dramatic license, so things may not all happen in chronological order. But for now, I invite the Ross sisters to sing their song, and you to all sit back, relax, and enjoy the performance. Thank you. Charms which I gave on so fondly today were to change by tomorrow and fleet in my arms like the fairy gift fading away. Though it still be adored as this moment thou art, let thy loveliness fade as it will. Around the dear ruin, each wish of my heart would entwine itself ardently still.
John, here they come. Go outside and see and meet them. Oh my God, I am shaking with excitement.
Look, man Langan. How is everything in the estate? All is in order, I trust?
Well, things are stirring a little bit more than usual.
That's enough for now, Langan. Here, would you mind taking my riding jacket, please?
Thank you very much, sir.
If you get a chance, do you attend to my horse and carriage, Langan?
Sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, may I say, it's great to be back home with your lovely wife Elizabeth and your lovely daughter Maria.
Thank you, Langan. Well, Billimore.
A sight that's so right, sir.
Rumour has it that you are the eyes and ears of the estate and its surroundings. So how goes all of the estate?
Not good, sir. Not good at all. And that comes straight from the horse's mouth. The threat of attack from the white boys and defenders, it's around every corner. They're looking in the shadows and everywhere. Come and go for us here. Oh, here she comes.
My darlings, I embrace your love and affection. Father has been telling me all about your homeschooling and character building. I'm home now, so I'm going to take off where Father left off. And remember, my little scholars, I have noted my attention to detail.
How are you?
Dear brother. Maria, dearest. My, have you grown? Not only in stature, but in mind and body too. Leave the lessons for later, dear. Do not waste the afternoon, but savor the anticipation of the later lessons.
Quite so, Aunt Roxton. Never rush a lesson indeed. Oh dear sweet Kitty, it's favourable to have your company in Edwardstown House.
Dearest child, such a pleasure to have you home. Darling Elizabeth, I trust you're well after your journey. Miss Billimore? Yes, madam. Would you please tea and scones?
about you in the Packham family. My dear deceased sister Honora spoke so highly of you and held you in the highest esteem. I feel I have known you forever, and I still in my tender years.
Indeed, Elizabeth. You are such a kind soul to take on the bearing and the care of the offspring of Richard. And indeed, your own issue.
I would have a kind heart to care for any offspring of dear Honora, and indeed those yet to be born, if my strength may allow me.
Maria, would you care to partake in some knitting or embroidery or some tapestry with us?
Mariah's interests lie elsewhere, I assure you. She endeavours to be a scholar of literature and of science, according to her good self.
How so, brother? She is but 14 years old. Her mind may not be as broad or as adaptable as you perceive it to be.
On the contrary, her mind is a vessel to be filled with all sorts of facts and figures, unlike her own dear mother, who can barely sign her own name.
Oh, Richard.
Maria, you must have inhaled every morsel of learning in Miss Dave's school in London, and after that, in Miss Latchford's school in Derby. Tell us all about it.
Indeed so, Aunt Kitty. I immersed myself in learning 10 hours per day. And I even studied French and can converse quite confidently.
Please, Maria, say something in French for us. I implore you.
Well, what would you like me to say, dear cousin Sophie?
Tell us about yourself, from birth until now.
Well, je m'appelle Maria Edgeworth. Je suis née à Oxfordshire, Angleterre. Mes parents sont Richard et Maria Edgeworth. Ma pauvre maman est morte. J'étais très triste. Et papa aussi. Alors, j'ai une nouvelle maman, appelle Honora. Elle était adorablement intelligente, mais elle est ensuite tombée malade et est décédée. Oh, Mariah, that sounds adorable. What's it mean? Well, I just gave a brief rundown from my birth until now, Sally. Oh, please say something else. I can listen to you forever. Oui, Sally. Maintenant, j'ai une autre belle maman, appelle Elizabeth Knight. Et je l'aime tellement.
Punster.
Oh, Langan indeed.
Thank you, sir. What sort of speak is coming out of young Maria's mouth? Never heard anything like.
Not so sanguine. That is how the French speak. Doesn't it sound eloquent?
You won't be saying the like, but those French devils invade our town and kill us in our bed.
Not at
French
all.
speaking indeed.
But the French are our allies, Langan.
Oh,
Never mind Langan. What would he know? It is indeed eloquent and posh, and I want to learn it too. Teach me, Maria, please.
Of course, Sally. I will teach it you in due course. If your dear mama will allow it.
Oh, Sophie, get back to your sewing, dear. The tea is served, sir. Freshly baked scones and gooseberry jam from the pantry. Now, come quickly before the head goes out of it. No use in cold scones. No use.
Well done, Billamore. Go ahead, ladies. Myself and Maria shall follow.
Oh, the tea, sir. What about the tea? Now, lady, aren't you going to eat lunch with the rest of the family?
In a while, Billamore. The only appetite I have at this very moment is all in front of my very eyes. I could eat them all up.
What are you talking? What could you eat? What's wrong with you?
Books, Billamore. Books, books, and more books.
Dearest Maria, what is that book you are reading at present?
I'm reading Wealth of the Nations by Adam Smith. It's an ostentatious read. Heavy, but informative.
Excellent, dear doctor. I must introduce you to my friends in the Lunar Society. You'll be well impressed at their findings.
Indeed so, Father. I can't wait. So, Father, now that Brother Richard has found his sea legs, will he be returning
must stay at college presently and try harder to learn. He wasn't bored with my brains. Fortunately, he takes after your own poor mother, Maria Edgeworth, who could barely sign her own name.
Sacred blue, Papa! Let's do all good respect for Lismore.
I beg your pardon.
Have you no respect for the dead father?
Come along, dear daughter, into the kitchen. Let us retire.
Thank you for your patience. Now, in this scene, we encounter Richard's third wife, who is not very well and in need of a change of atmosphere and scenery. Now, when I say his third wife, please let me explain. Richard married Maria's mother, Maria Edgeworth, while he was studying. He was young and foolish and in love. However, Maria Edgeworth died when Maria was 5. So Richard married his sweetheart, Honora Snyde, in 1773, and she in turn died also in the year 1780, leaving Richard a widower. Once again, he took a wife. This time it was Elizabeth Snyde, sister of Honora's, and at that time it was against the law to do so. However, Richard did get his way. By the year 1798, after Elizabeth's death, he married Frances Beaufort, whom we will encounter at the rebellion. Notice how in these large estates that servants were employed to do all the housework and indeed the farm work. 2 of their long-standing staff were Mrs. Billimore and John Langan. Langan was an invaluable servant, or she was the houseman, and Mrs. Billimore was, well, if the truth be told, she was the boss. She ran the house, the estate, and even the neighbourhood. She was the eyes and ears of the estate and its surrounds. I'd like to invite the Ross sisters back to sing The Last Rose of Summer.
Left blooming all alone. All her lovely companions are faded and gone. No flower of kindred, no rosebud is mine to reflect back her blushes and give sigh for sigh. I'll not leave thee, thou lone one, to pine on the stem, since thy lovely are sleeping. Go sleep now with them. The kindly are scattered, thy leaves o'er the bed, where thy maids of the garden lie scentless and dead.
Snyde, Harriet, what's this all about? What's it hiding light on your high heels so see if I don't? What's this all racket about? Look at all your poor sweet man needs is a little rest and time to heal. Now, go on, have yourself. Yes, she, well, she only needs a little rest. Shush now, Harriet, stop that old chat out here. Now, go on, outside you read your books or do whatever you do. Go on, out.
Mrs. Billimore, yes, can you bring me a chamber pot in case I may need it?
Okay.
1 minute, minute I'm hot and the next I'm cold. I haven't felt as bad since losing the last baby. Where is Richard? Is he nearby?
Oh, he's in the lobby reading or writing or doing whatever he does. Now, you sit down here and have a little rest before tea time. Do you need anything else?
Father, Langan and I have been out inspecting the progress on the drainage on the land and on the bogs. It is a major project, Father, and it will take ages. The land is swamped at present.
Right. I dare say it will take a lot of money to put things right, sir.
Don't worry, Langan. I already have that issue figured out. Trust us.
But how, dear daughter? Things are tight at present, and we must be thrifty with our spends.
Look, Father, I have a nice income coming in from the sale of my book, Tale of Literacy Lanes. As soon as the books start to fly out, the money will fly in. You'll see.
And, sir, that's only a tip of the iceberg. The tenants' cottages are in bad need of repair, and the mayor refused to pay the rent.
Nonsense, Langan. I trust my income will be ample to cover all the necessities.
I never doubted you, dear daughter. I will be forever in your debt. Now, would you mind coming with me into the lobby and we do the maths to see what the total amount may be? An estimation will suffice.
Father, tomorrow is Saturday, and the children will have free time from their studies. However, I must join the older children now and see how they are progressing. I must quiz them on the philosophies of Rousseau and Locke. I'm eager to see their spontaneity and inquisitiveness.
Sir, I must be away now, but may I be so bold as ask you for a small pan of soup? It's for the wee ones, you know.
Langan, be my guest, of course you can. Take plenty, there's lots to go around.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much indeed.
You,
Have a
Langan.
good evening, sir.
And you?
Before I go, how is my darling mother today? How does the aches and pains seem now?
I feel so weak and so forlorn. This climate has been anything but good to me. Constant rain and cold spells. I simply cannot cope. Every bone in my body aches.
Oh,
I fear the worst.
Hush now, darling. We must not dwell on negativity. Come hither, Villamore.
I see more meat on the butcher's pencil. Maybe I go and make her a bowl of sesame sausage. Maybe spoon feed her.
Yes, please do. And see to it that she gets some rest. Keep the children out in the library for now.
Maria, I fear for the life of your dear sweet mother. I see that her very life breath is seeping out of her in front of her eyes. Her symptoms, they resemble the dreaded consumption that took my own dear Honora from me. I'll be damned if I lose another wife to this plague.
What must we do, Papa, to help her? We must do something immediately.
I took the chance to contact my dear Margaret Broxton, and she has insisted that she spend a few months with her in Blackcastle, where the air is fresher and the house is warm and welcoming. She will be a good nurse to Elizabeth and Sophie also.
This news inspires me, Papa. So, when do you leave for County Meath?
We leave at dawn. Will you go and tell Billimore to pack enough warm clothes and footwear for the next few months? I shall leave you here in charge of my affairs, and I trust they will be in good hands. Billimore can help you with the children, and I'm sure Langan will be of some use also.
Thank you, dear Father, for your trust in me. I will write every day, I promise. Safe journey to both of you.
Come along, dear little. Let us get you over to Blackcastle. How you feel?
Just while we set up the next scene, we're just going to have the Ross sisters sing The Crappy Boy for us. Twas early in the birds did whistle and sweetly sing, changing their notes from tree to tree. The song they sang was fuller than free. Early Lord Cornwall. 'Twas in his guard house where I lay, and in his parlour I was tried. Sentence passed and my spirits low, when to Newgate now I was forced to go. When I was marching over Wexford Hill, oh, who could blame me to cry my fill? I looked behind and I looked before, my tender mother ne'er saw no more. Farewell, father and mother too, and sister Mary, I have none but you. And for my brother, he's all alone, he's pointing pikes on the grinding stone. 'Twas in old Ireland this young man died, and in old Ireland his body lay. The good people do pass me by, pray the Lord have mercy on the croppy boy. This scene portrays a part of the rebellion in 1798. Here we see Richard Lovell Edgeworth en route home from his honeymoon with his latest wife, Frances Beaufort. They are accompanied by an older Maria and servant John Langan, who met them halfway. They come across a mini battle scene and are confronted by two British officers who are not to be trusted. Richard and his party barely survive an attack and live to tell the tale. They are horrified by dead corpses strewn on the roadside, hanging on the trees. This battle may have been small, but it certainly was a bloody one. In this scene, we will also see a wandering minstrel band who are on their way to Ballinamuck and are followed by surviving pikemen and others. During this scene, we will have Sarah singing The Rising of the Moon.
Richard, darling, I'm still shaking after hearing of that horrible mob and their attempted attack on your person. Why would anyone want to attack you, Richard?
Oh, dearest Francis, I think it amounts to a lack of understanding. If they cannot see that I too can be non-sectarian, in that I employ both Catholic and Protestant on my estate without favoritism.
But surely that's a good plan, Richard, is it not?
Well, you see, the rebels think I favour the defenders, who in turn think I favour the French and so forth.
And Father, I hear that word has gotten out of late that you're seriously thinking about voting against the Act of Union. This has been rumoured by our Catholic tenants and employees, who are both astonished and enthusiastic at the very idea.
I cannot understand all of this political nonsense. I can't comprehend it at all.
Now, dear Francis, do not burden yourself with political propaganda, not for 1 minute.
Well, it's thanks to the kindness and generosity of my aunts, and indeed Billimore, that our estate and Charlotte's cottages have been spared from attack.
Kindness to whom, Maria, if I may be so inquisitive?
To the families of some of the rebels who are human and often need food for the soul, which is where both my aunts and Mrs. Billimore come in.
Oh dear. Maria, take Francis into the inn for safekeeping. I shall go and inquire about the status of this rebellion.
Come along, Francis. Let us see if we can take some rest in the inn. Oh.
Who goes there, friend or foe? And what's your business here?
I am Richard Lovell Edgeworth of Edgeworthstown Estate, and I seek safe passage home for my wife and daughter. We are tired and weary, and my servants are afeard.
The very same Richard Lovell Edgeworth who's opposing the Act of Union.
I am one of the same Richard Lovell Edgeworth. And what concerns with this young man?
For all I know, you could be Jack Frost. Do you have papers to back up your claims?
Look, my wife and I are returning from our honeymoon. She has the papers in her baggage if you'd let me fetch them.
Yeah, and if we let you go, you'll run off. Do I look green or what, fella?
Please, let me speak for that. I wish to take no part in this rebellion. All I seek is safe passage home. Can I go and get the papers?
We only have your word for it, Edward. That's who you say you are. So you like to run with the hare and hunt with the hound?
Look, can I go and get the papers? Why don't you accompany me if you don't trust me?
Come along, son. Enough time has been wasted already. Darn it.
Good. Come along. Hey, and by the way, where are General Humbert and the French right now?
They're closing in and running them up. But we'll be ready for those French kids. We'll skin them like rabbits.
Here you are, dear Francis and Maria. We must go now while there is a lull in the air, or we may indeed get safe passage back to the estate. Darling, on the way. I think it's the only thing in order.
These papers are indeed authentic. Come hither and we'll put the ladies on this ammunition cart, and the gents can walk after the cart.
Oh, no, indeed. My servant is weary, and he must travel in the cart alongside us also.
He can walk. Surely he's not that important to you.
On the contrary, Langan is invaluable to us. Either he comes along with us, or we shall wait for another cart to arrive.
Be it so, Edward. Look at the kind eating them out because of a lousy commoner. I'll say. I think you're all inbred anyway.
Francis, come on, darling Maria. We must not go without Langan, or Billimore would tan our hides for sure.
Hey, that's all Edward. His face as they go. I heard his son's breast
Anybody in the eyes?
Father! Amal! It's the ammunition cart. It's been blown to pieces. Thank God we didn't travel on it. Thank God for them not allowing Langan on the cart.
Oh, thank God for Langan, indeed. We would have been blown to pieces, just these poor dears.
I trust it was a trick right from the start. Maria, trust no one until this rebellion is over. We will go on towards good. ocean, and I have friends over there will get a safe passage home. And don't look back. Come along.
Oh, God! Is that the head and torso of a human being? Oh.
Don't look, Francis, dearest mamma. Do as father says. Keep walking and look straight ahead.
Oh, that is easy to say, but treading on the entrails of humanity is sad.
We cannot help them, but we can help ourselves. Let us walk on and we get safe passage home from Mr. Forbes.
Come tell me, Sean O'Farrell, tell me why you hurry so. Hush a little hush, and this sin and his cheeks were all blue. Were there orders from the captain? Get you ready, quick and soon. For the pikes must be together at the rising of the moon. At the rising of the moon, at the rising of the moon. For the pikes must be together at the rising of the moon. And come tell me, Sean O'Farrell, where the gathering is to be. At the old spot by the river, quite unknown to you and me. Go talk and whistle out the marching tune with your pipe on your shoulder. At the rising of the moon, at the rising of the moon. For the pikes must be together at the rising of the moon. At the rising of the moon, at the rising of the moon. For the pikes must be together at the rising of the moon.
In this scene, we see Mariah's friends, Jane Austen and Tom Lefroy, on a visit to Edgeworthstown House. Jane is full of praise for Mariah's latest publications, and in turn gets feedback, and not all of it positive, on her most recent publication. Tom Lefroy arrives on the scene with news of forthcoming ball at his own estate in Carriglass Manor. Mariah sadly remembers her courtship with Count Edelkrantz, and she is comforted by Jane and Tom. It's been said that Jane's pride and prejudice was indeed based on the brief courtship or friendship between Tom Lefroy and Jane Austen herself. Tom disguised as Mr. Darcy and Jane Austen as Elizabeth Bennet. There are different dances displayed in this scene: the gay quadrille for the upper class and the Shandos dance, which was catching on around this time at the crossroads, harvest time celebrations and elsewhere. Sit back and enjoy.
Thank you, Maria. Your novels to date are to die for. You are indeed an inspiration to all of us. Even Sir Walter Scott accredits his most recent novel, Waverley, inspired by your latest novel, The Absentee. How wonderful is that?
Not at all, Jane. There's a short novel, a book, or a poem in all of us just waiting to come out.
Nonsense, Maria. I cannot imagine those poor common peasants having the least notion of penning a novel, or indeed a short story. What a comical thought.
And why ever not, Jane? Since our new multi-denominational school system has been set up here in Ireland, both Catholic and Protestant, female and male, whether rich or poor, are all working together in harmony. My brother-in-law is doing a fantastic job here, running the school here in Edgeworthstown.
Please forgive my intrusion, dear friend, but I have heard from the grapevine that one has issues. I dare be so bold as to say he was quite fond of the drink, which resulted in bouts of depression.
Yes, Jane, there are times when his mind is elsewhere. Quite incarceration memories from that time still haunt him. However, we must not dwell on any kind of negativity. On a more positive note, let's Blangan, wasn't it?
Maybe it's about Mr. Tom Leroy wishes to have an audience with yourselves.
Show him in 5 minutes, Blangan. And for God's sake, would you please take something further off?
Yes, ma'am.
Take some time off if it helps.
Yes, thank you very much, ma'am.
Tom Lefroy, lovely, cute Tom Lefroy. I have goose pimples all over me. Why, the very thought of him and I in the same room sends shivers up my spine.
Oh, Jane, do get a grip of yourself or you will embarrass yourself completely.
Ladies, may I present Mr. Tom Lefroy? Like it, my good man. Thank you, sir.
Tom, how wonderful it is to see you again.
It's an honour to meet with you again, Tom. It's been too long.
The pleasure is all mine, ladies. I've come on some business, and delighted to be in the presence of two wonderful, talented, and beautiful ladies. One having acquired the title of literary lioness. How charming!
Tom, you're back from your travels. Please tell us all the stories from there.
Well, I heard a rumour that you were considerable amount of money in the Dublin bar, and that you pulled through. Is that true?
Yes, ladies. I'm not one to brag, but I am now the proud owner of Carriglass Manor, 6 miles from here as the crow flies.
How wonderful! My congratulations and best wishes for the future, Tom.
Why, thank you, dearest Maria. Now, I've come on some business which will involve both yourself and Miss Jane. I'm holding a Halloween ball at Carriglass Manor, and I would be delighted if both of you could attend. Pretty ladies are very hard to find nowadays, especially talented ones.
My word, a ball! Oh my goodness! Who else will be there?
Let me see. Well, off the top of my head, the Toots, the Foxes of Foxhall, the Pakenhams, the Featherstones, the Grenards, and many more landed gentry.
My, but it's a long time since I've danced. And as far as I remembered, I had 2 left feet the last time. Sure, who would want to dance with me anyway?
Now, Maria. Miss Jane and I will take to the floor and teach you the basics.
You and I will actually dance together. Well, I'll not say no to that, Tom. What music will we practice to?
My cousin, Sophie and Sally Ruxton, play music. Shall I fetch them?
Yes, please do. We must get started straight away. Time is of the essence.
Sally, Sophie, can you come hither, please? Play some reels or jigs there for us, girls, would you? What about more dancers?
Well, something suitable for a gay quadrille. Now we'll need 2 more dancers. Call in your younger sisters, Maria.
Harriet, Fanny, come hither.
Now, let's line up. Maria, you stand aside for this one. Miss Jane and I will teach you the basics. Watch the steps carefully. It's quite easy, really. It's like riding a horse. If you fall or falter, get straight back up. Perseverance.
And I feel like I'm a dancing clown, if there is such a thing.
But Maria, you are confident in all other aspects of your life. So why can't you be confident now and make up your mind to try harder?
Now, let's take a break. So, Maria, when did you say it was that you last danced?
About 12 years ago, with the one love of my life, my Swedish Count Eldekras. It was so long ago, but yes, I feel like it was only yesterday.
You really loved him, Mariah. What sweet sorrow parting must have been for you.
And dearest Maria, did the Count not propose to you, or even ask your father for your hand in marriage?
Oh, he did, and my heart, it was beating so swiftly that...
Did your father refuse your hand to him?
On the contrary, it was I, despite loving him, pulled away. My emotions ran high. I felt like I was in a tug of war between my love of my family, my heritage and novels, and my love of a future in Sweden with my dearest Count. He pleaded with me. He begged me to stay. But alas, my feelings for home, for my heritage, and ordinary life won out in the end.
Every time I hear this story, my eyes well up and my heart breaks for you again, Mariah.
And dearest Maria, do you have any regrets as you get older?
Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't dwell on it. For there's not much point, really. And I think that marriage should be built on more than love, on compatibility, on lifestyles, on beliefs. For when a love dies in a marriage, what else is there? Does that make sense?
This works, and everybody knows that marriage. Sure, your father married 4 women. Wasn't he a good sign that he wasn't too busy with in marriage? Wasn't he always happy?
Not at all, Jane. Sure, he was one of the saddest men known to me.
Now, Miss Jane, no. Give Maria a chance to breathe, and let's get back to some more dancing.
Okay, I'll sit down, so we'll take a rest. I dare say the girls would like to dance a little more.
Really? And what other dances do they actually know?
And where else other than at school do you give these displays, girls?
At Country Crossroads and Harry's Time Festivals. We love it.
patience so far. This wonderful scene depicts the onset of the famine in the area, the loss of lives and the struggle to survive. A much older Maria, along with her trusty and loyal friend Biddy Mackin, desperately tried to get provisions from her loyal friends and acquaintances, both here and abroad, in order to feed the needy, hungry people of Edgeworthstown. The Reverend John Powell arrives bearing good news and offering good advice to Maria. Maria gets help from the strangest of sources, the Quaker Society and Friends in Cincinnati. Biddy Mackin lives until the ripe old age of 101, and Maria died in 1849, aged 81. Two wonderful ladies indeed, and we are still remembering them here today in 2022.
Well with me. I've just found out there's a poor soul there, stretched out for the want of food. They're starving and dying, ma'am.
Oh dear, we must not let them die. Go fetch a cart and a farmhand. We shall go yonder, fetch them back with us. We shall care for them till he's well enough to move on.
Oh, ma'am, this is the 5th one this week. I fear we're going to run out of provisions soon.
Nonsense, Biddy. Don't we still have the cornmeal for the stir-about that my good friend from Cincinnati sent us last month?
No, ma'am. That's all gone. Every single morsel.
On God, you say. But how? Every 180 pounds of it.
Every last ounce. And ma'am, them prices, they're gone all black too.
Never fear, Biddy. Where there is a will, there's a way. Come along. We will get some servants to make some straw beds for the wayfarers. My Sean Mackin, come along.
Once down by the glance, I met an old woman, a bluff in your letters. She never saw me coming. I listened a while to the song she was humming. Glory, oh, to the both. Since I saw the moon beaming on strong rocky floors, with eyes with hope gleaming, I see them again during all my sad dreams. Glory, oh, to the both female. When I was a young girl, they're marching underneath. I walked in the grandside, sounds awesome and thrilling. They loved dear old darlings, to die they were willing. Glory, oh, to the both female. Was down by the grandside.
been answered. I'm going to get Molly Green and her neighbours to help us. They're fine bakers. Will I get that, man?
Please do, madam.
Good afternoon, Reverend John.
Good afternoon.
It's Reverend.
Lovely to meet you again, dear Madam Edgeworth. I've come here on behalf of the Quakers.
Really? Well, how so, Reverend Howard?
Well, I'm here on behalf of the Quakers in reply to a letter from your good self asking for grain and barley for the estate. And they have answered in a most agreeable way.
How decent and awfully generous it is. Please, do sit down, Reverend.
Thank you.
Tell me all.
Well, my good lady wife has received 20 shillings on your behalf to set up a soup kitchen in the area. She's also received another 15 shillings from her loyal acquaintances. This she wishes to donate to you for your charitable endeavours.
How awfully kind of sweet dear Mamie. Please, do thank her from the bottom of my heart. But there are so many starving, wandering souls in need of care and attention, let alone food. How can one look after them all? Plus, our priority, look after our own tenants, to keep them alive.
Indeed. If I may offer a word of advice, dear madam, I suggest that you dole out the grain and the barley amongst the tenants for sowing. This would be a learning experience, and it would encourage them into the cultivation of their own little gardens once again.
Words of wisdom indeed, Reverend. But how can one turn their backs on those other poor wretches whose bodies are emaciated and souls in limbo?
Yes, indeed. Well, keep feeding them in the soup kitchens. You've done your best. Well, she can do no more. In the meantime, the crops will be ready for harvesting. You see, God is good. We must not lose faith.
Agreed. Just yesterday, I received confirmation that my latest children's novel, Orlandino, is to be published soon. Money will do wonders for us all.
Wonderful news indeed. You see, good Lord always provides. I know you will spend it wisely. I must take leave.
The tenants' cottages must be repaired, the bogs be drained. My first priority is to look after the needy. The rest can wait.
Yes, indeed. Well, I must take leave of you now, my dear friend. Good health to you and to all who reside in this house until we meet again.
Thank you, Reverend, and love to Mamie.
I certainly will. Good day to you.
Biddy, come quickly. Time and tide waits for no man.
What do you mean, ma'am?
You and I are going to start a soup kitchen at Porter House for the waste and strays. And when my work is done, I'm going to visit my sweet relatives in County Meath. I'm quite looking forward to some good, educated and informative conversations.
Are you going away, ma'am? And is that wise? Because you are no spring chicken, you know.
Yes, Biddy, I
with me.
Nonsense, Biddy. You will live to be 100 years or more, I dare say.
I hope so, ma'am. I hope so.
So this concludes our performance for today, and what a performance it was. I'd like now to take the opportunity to welcome back, scene by scene, the actors in each scene. Jimmy Connell, Stephen Tierney, Eileen Spillane, Caoimhe Connell, Lucy Brown, Martha Ross, Geraldine Ross, Camilla Kelly and Cy O'Reilly from scene 1. And from scene 2, Joseph Quinn, Lily Grant, Jimmy Connell, Saoirse Ronan, for lifting the stretcher for us as well. Thanks, Ray. We'd also like to extend a thank you to the Maria Edgeworth Society for the invitation and the opportunity to perform here today. We have thoroughly enjoyed preparing for it, but we could not have done it without Jenny and all the staff of the Green and the old schoolhouse that have facilitated the hours of rehearsals that the hard-working actors and dancers and musicians have put in. Just in case I've left anybody out, I'd like to thank anybody and everybody that helped out in any way. It really is very much appreciated. We know the show can't go on without people like yourselves. I'd like to thank yourselves, the audience, for a slightly different performance outside, and to thank you for your brilliant attention, and we really, really appreciate it. It made it a bit easier for us up here. We'd also like to pay tribute to one of our members, Margaret. Could I have Margaret, please? Just a little note to thank Margaret for her dedication for every production. She's been here, but Margaret is sadly leaving our production company. But we're hoping that should she return, she might put in a cameo performance. So can I get a special round of applause for Margaret Dunn? And finally, the woman who not only penned this fantastic script, but pulled us all together in her own usual and very special way, Pauline Flood. I think she's speechless for once. It doesn't happen too often. So all that remains for me. Do you want to say something? Just been informed that the musicians are going to entertain you for a further few minutes once I get off the stage, and trust me, that's going to be very quick now. Just to say thanks again for you attending the performance today. We look forward to seeing you at our next production. Safe home, everybody.